Well, have you ever thought about it? Have you ever had one of these smaller stones and figured to yourself, hey, what would happen? What if I wanted to turn this to an Edgepro stone? You know, these tiny little nano super stones. This one's been worn about halfway down. Boy, I'd really like an Edgepro stone out of this. You know, I want an Edgepro stone. Here's a blank. Well, your first challenge is going to be this right here. Boop! Getting the stone off. If you've ever removed an Edgepro stone, the way it's done is you grab this piece with some pliers or something and you hold it over your stove, and basically they're held on with this stuff. Okay, 3M Super 77. Zoom out a bit. They're held on with this stuff, so a little bit of heat and the stones come right off. I was thinking maybe this was held on the same way, but if you look, it's a little different. Okay, there's what a nano plate looks like. See those dots? It was held on with like a thin, clear rubber glue, which was even easier to get this off. Now, it's the first time I've taken a stone off its base. Man, the super stones look cool. This is the old super stone. I actually just ordered a new 1000 to replace this one. The only thing with it is you have to be careful when you pry it off the base. I just held this over the stove and I used an old wedge and I just gently pried this off. These stones are notoriously very weak when they get thin. I don't know if you can already tell just by looking, but it's already starting to kind of, you know, flex. These stones will flex like crazy and arc by themselves, especially when they get wet. But anyway, so I'm going to make Edgepro stones out of this. Now, you should comfortably be able to get 2 stones. Okay? If this was a little wider, I could get 3 stones. So one there, one there. Maybe we'll get 3 stones out of this. We'll see what happens. How am I going to cut the stone? Sorry to get in the way. This is how. This is all it takes. It's a brand new blade. I went in the store to buy a blade just for this. It's going to destroy your blade. So you don't have to buy an expensive one. Use your old one. It just needs some teeth on it. And I've done this with stones 3 times as thick. This stone is really soft and it's so easy to gouge. I'm sure it's not going to take much with this. So you need that. Obviously we're going to use 3M to attach it to the stone blank. Tape measure. And a pencil to mark it off. So let's go ahead and mark the stone. Now normally I would use the blank to mark the stone, but whenever you're doing your own Edgepro pieces, you want to make sure that the stone does not go, sorry I'm kind of in reverse here, all the way to the end of this, because your machine arm is going to grab right here and it just comes over this lip a little bit, so if the stone comes all the way out, you're going to be pushing your stone off your blank when you tighten up your stone arm. So we're going to make it just shy of 6 inches by an inch or whatever that is. Let's see. Keep dropping that. So a plate by Edgepro is, it's actually just shy of 6 inches. I'm going to change my view here. Sorry. So, it's just shy of 6 inches by about an inch. Okay. Now, how many inches wide is this stone? Okay, you got to think about all this stuff. It's less than 3 inches wide, so we're only going to be able to get 2 stones out. Now, you might be thinking, well, you could fit another one on there and just have it a little small. But you got to remember, when you're cutting, you're going to have to subtract the width of this blade twice, because the entire width of this blade is going to be cut out of that stone and missing. So we're only going to get 2. My suggestion is, instead of cutting the lengthwise for the stones first, you want to cut your square off first because you're going to have a square left over. Those squares make excellent pocket stones and slurry stones. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mark all this stuff off. And I'll be right back. Alright, here we go. So we're all cut out. Doesn't have to be perfect. I recommend keeping the stone wet for this. Now this is actually the least important part, so don't worry if you screw this up a little. Here we go. Start from the corners usually. My stone is drying out again. Be right back. You don't want the stones to dry out too much on you. So we're a lot of the way there. Just a second. So, as you can see, we're pretty far down through it. What you want to avoid is, fracturing and cracking. In fact, I'm only going to saw this to the point of being able to just break it off. And actually, I'm almost through the stone completely. Remember, super stones are very fragile. If you're doing this with a king style stone, you won't have to worry about it. Now this should just pop right off. There you go. So this is your palette for your Edgepro stones. And now you have this nice little slurry stone. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, we're getting there. And this part does take the longest. But as you can see, we're almost to the point where I can just pop this. Now when you're doing this part, you want to start at the edge of the stone with your saw up and slowly work the saw like that. And just go really slow with it, Take your time. Don't cut yourself. And because the more force and the more you mess around, the more likely you are to crack the stone. And then you've wasted it. This can take some time. Depends on the stone. I did more of a king style stone, one of those traditional stones, and dude, that thing was hard as a rock. If you go all the way like this, your saw is just going to get bound. So you kind of have to do it at an angle. And don't worry if they don't come out perfect, because it's an imperfect thing. We're not doing this professionally now. We're just trying to cut our own stones. Now you can really see how there's a gap from the width of the saw blade. That's going to really become apparent. Now remember, when these aren't perfect, when they come out, you just fix them with your diamond plate. You straighten them out, flatten them out, and all that stuff. Going straight across is hard too, because you're going to slide all over the thing. Let me see if this is good enough to just kind of pop this off. See, I'm still sensing that the entire stone's going to break, so we're just going to keep hacking away. Getting there. It's cool how this stone is abrading the saw blade. Not quite there. Alright, we'll be back when it's done. Alright, so there it is. We are done. That came out really good. So that's what the insides of your stone look like. Doesn't that look like foam or something? So here's my blank. I purposely made this a little short, but look at that. Yeah, fit it on there. Look at that fit, dude. That looks great, doesn't it? Looks like a straight up, like it was meant for the Edgepro. Looks awesome. There it is. Nice Edgepro stone. Now, obviously, I have enough to make a second one and still have some stuff left, so I can just kind of go crazy with this. And I have a Slurry Stone or pocket stone. This is a great pocket stone. The 1000 is such a fine stone, you can actually get a pretty good edge off it. So this would be good to throw in a bag or something, because it's splash and go, so you're not going to need to find a place to soak it. So, all there is left to do is throw some adhesive spray on here, which is really easy to do. I'm not going to go over that for you guys, because I'm sure everyone knows how to do that. And I got to hem this up on a diamond plate, of course. As you see, it's got some rough areas, but it fits beautifully. Alright guys, so how to make use of your old stones and turn them into Edgepro stones before they get so thin that they crack and break away. See ya!